staff that has a goal in mind, and they're going to get there. And I can't say the governor's not part of that too. He said, I want this to end. Now, I will say that there's an attempt to get a meeting with the governor, not his staff, but with the governor himself, that I'm aware of. And I've been invited to, if it happens, to attend, along with, I believe, Mr. Hay and some others, to say, look, this is the problem. This is where it hits, because I'm not sure he's getting that information accurately. And he sure as heck isn't getting it from the chair of the Resources Board. That's where the problem lies. That's, and you mentioned it too, Mr. Brown, is she's ruling that with an iron fist. And it's really a shame, because it's the people of the state of California that are paying the price for it, for her agenda. That's what it boils down to. It's not from a lack of effort on our folks' staff, but when our legislators approve these things, which they shouldn't be approving them to begin with, and those are the folks that represent us that we elect that need to be held accountable too. But when they pass these bills and send them off to the regulators and say, here, make them work, that's where we have the bigger problems. They shouldn't be passing in the first place. But that's
May I make a couple of suggestions here to move this forward?
I'd like to make a suggestion too.
Sure. Why don't you go ahead first?
Well, I was going to say, when the board, when the Air Resources Board is looking to adopt this, we very rarely have testified as an entity in front of the Air Resources Board. We tried to testify on the ag fund pool, and our comments were ignored. But I think on this rule, I think it would be appropriate for a board member, select one of yourselves, to go and represent Mendocino County, either the Board of Supervisors or the Air District Board, and tell them what you think. As a staff person, I have to measure my comments, and I can't alienate my oversight agency too much. But as an elected official, you have much more freedom to speak your mind than I do.
get issued.
Well, that's a great suggestion. What I would like to do is try and kind of herd these cats back and bring them back to a solution. One, I'd like the board to support Chris and maybe Mr. Pinch's drafting a resolution to come back to us very quickly, kind of capturing all our thoughts so that we can actually have a document saying, no, we're not putting up with this time. Two,
well, and that's kind of what I think we need consensus of the board.
Right.
Basically something like that. Hey, no, we're not putting up with this.
Right.
This time.
Well, I'm in favor. Supervisor Smith? I'm going to add to some things that might explain
I mean,
my
I think
position.
in general, I think we're certainly all on board. I mean, we should do everything and anything that we can do, but I think we've got to be, reasonable with respect to how we approach it. We're not the regulatory function. As Supervisor Colfax said, it's fine for us to say, gee, the supervisors don't support this. Meanwhile, the public's out there, and they're the ones that will receive the citations and fines. I mean, we've got to understand the parameters in which we operate. And so I think that we have county council review the document to make sure that it's that it makes sense. And I think that Mr. Brown is in a good position to draft it. But I think we need to be...
You're saying that I shouldn't be included in that?
No, I think you should be included. No, but I think that Mr. Brown understands the nuances and the politics involved, and that's what you're saying. Let's send Supervisor Pinches, let's send Supervisor Delmore, let's have folks go to Sacramento and testify on it.
Right. First item of my suggestion. Is there any disagreement with writing a resolution that would include Mr. Brown, Mr. Pinches, and Ms. Nadell in crafting? Is there any problem with that? Okay. Then take that resolution, send it to our Sacramento legislators, send it to CSAC, send it to RCRC, we're still a member, make a statement. One of us go with Mr. Brown and demand testimony be allowed of just how asinine this regulation is. So that's probably number 3. And number 4 would be to authorize the county council to examine, with help from Mr. Brown, of whether or not they could be violating CEQA in making such an exception. It's not filing a lawsuit, it's just looking for her to give us a legal opinion on step 2 or plan B. And I think this is a series, getting it down the road, it will gather some momentum, it will gather some support from the other counties. I think it's a game plan that is quite accomplishable. So is there a problem from any of the board members in that type of a game plan? Okay, Supervisor Pinchon.
I don't have a problem. The thing that probably the sole issue that I'm mostly disappointed over is it wasn't a campaign issue with our state elected officials this election coming. It should have been a major campaign issue. And our people running for state office, it just somehow just flown right underneath the radar screen on this whole issue.
Okay, so to reiterate my request, draft a resolution to send it to our legislators, CSAC, RCRC, 3, to have Mr. Brown and one of us, the board, attend and testify for their resources board, and 4 would be to have county council give us an opinion on the legalities of the sequence situation.
To include the word as you quoted, we said we're not going for it or something.
Something along those lines. Okay, so is that consensus of the board for direction? Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Yes.